Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So, how does Alexander Usyk beat Tyson Fury in the rematch? Well, as the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He beat Tyson Fury last time. Therefore, if Fury boxes the same way he did in the first fight, as he claims he's going to, then Usyk just needs to rinse and repeat to secure the victory again. The only thing he really needs to improve on is making sure he doesn't make the mistake that he made in rounds 4 through 7 first time around, which was coming in on Fury too often in straight lines, rather than step into his own right or Fury's left and coming in at an angle. You see, early in the fight, Usyk was having success with a looping left hand over the top. So I think Usyk got a little carried away looking for that particular shot and was coming in straight too often, at which point Tyson Fury was able to start landing uppercuts to the head and body, but particularly the head. In the early rounds 1 to 3, Usyk had Fury's uppercut to the head blocked. He had it slipped because, again, he was coming in at an angle, but he allowed himself to drift a little bit in rounds 4 through 7. So he started getting caught, but then he made the adjustment again. He started stepping to his own right to Fury's left a lot more often, and also staggering his attacks. He'd act like he was going to come in straight, feint, draw the uppercut from Fury, then step to his own right and fire a shot. And after round 7, Fury's uppercut was really a non-factor. So Usyk has the ability to nullify that punch. And that's the only shot he really has to worry about. Fury's jab really didn't bother Usyk in the first fight at all. He was able to nullify the jab very easily. Was able to slip it, block it, get underneath it, get round it, cancel it out with his own jab. And that's typical, to be fair, of southpaws. Southpaws tend to be very good at taking away the jab of orthodox fighters. And I'm referring to slick southpaws. If you're talking about the likes of, I don't know, James Kirtland, a squared up, non-technical southpaw, then that's different. But with a side-on, slick southpaw, most of them tend to be very good at nullifying the jab of orthodox fighters. So the orthodox fighter will then rely on the backhand more. And that was certainly the case for Tyson Fury in the first fight with Usyk. He was relying more on the backhand to do damage than his left hand. His left hand was really just there as a rangefinder. He really wasn't doing much damage with a jab at all. There was a moment, I think, where he landed a nice left uppercut, but those things were few and far between. So as I say, if Fury, as he claims, and I'm not saying that he's being sincere, we'll have to find out on fight night, but if, as he claims, he's going to fight the same way as he did last time, but he's heavier, then Usyk just needs to do the same as last time. And as long as the judges aren't outrageously biased, because they were biased in Fury's favor last time. You look at the punch stats, particularly by jabber, and they depict accurately what happened in the fight. Fury's showboating had a lot of people bamboozled. His body language had people bamboozled. They were paying more attention to that than the punches that were actually landing. But if you look at the stats, Usyk was outlanding Fury for the majority of the fight. Not just with punches overall, but with high impact punches. And professional boxing is scored on the basis of which fighter lands the most clean, effective blows. And of course, that was Usyk clearly in the first fight. Somehow, the judges had it a split decision, one of them giving it to Fury. It's outrageous that Usyk needed that knockdown to actually get the win. Absolutely outrageous. And what's actually sick is the behavior of the Fury fans and Fury himself acting like he got jobbed. How does that even work? You land less than Usyk, you do less damage in the majority of rounds, and yet you think you got jobbed on the cards? Fury's the one who had the backing of Turki Al-Sheikh, not Usyk. Fury's the one with the major promoter in Frank Warren. Fury's the one with the big network deal with ESPN and TNT Sports. Usyk doesn't have any of those things. How on earth would he get the favor of the boxing establishment? It's an absurd notion. No, it was the opposite. What Fury and his fans are doing is called gaslighting. Usyk should have got a unanimous decision in his favor last time, never mind a split decision. So of course, you have to factor in the behavior of the judges this time too. Last time, Usyk from round 1 fought like a guy who felt like he needed a knockout to get the victory. That's the way he fought. And that was a sensible thing to do because he nearly did need a knockout to get a victory. He's going to have to fight the same way this time. Again, as long as Tyson Fury's on the back foot, do the same thing, take more care, avoiding the uppercut, but otherwise just rinse and repeat. However, if Tyson Fury actually decides to be aggressive in this fight and attempt to push Usyk back, then that changes everything. Usyk will then have to take a completely different approach. Now, Usyk can box on the back foot. We've seen him do it many times. going all the way back to his cruiserweight days. But at the age of 38, and people keep saying he's only a year older than Fury, he's actually closer to 2 years older than Fury. The first thing that tends to go with fighters is the legs. Now, Fury didn't have the legs, even at 260 pounds, whatever he was in the last fight. He didn't have the legs to keep Usyk at bay for 12 rounds. He was only able to achieve it for the middle portion of the fight, really, rounds 4 to 6, not even 7, because Usyk started landing big shots again in round 7. So rounds 4, 5, 6, Fury was able to keep Usyk at bay. He couldn't do it outside of that. He didn't have the legs. And that was at 260. He's probably going to come in for this fight closer to 280. So he's definitely not going to have the legs to keep Usyk at bay on the back foot at this higher weight. But if Fury's coming forward at Usyk, applying pressure, the question then becomes, does Usyk have the legs to stay out of the way of Fury for 12 rounds? Now, Fury has 2 different front foot games. The first front foot game is the one he displayed in the Steve Cunningham fight, and also against Otto Wallin in the second half of that contest. And you might even say in the second half of the third Wilder fight. And this is where he's trying to close his opponent down as quickly as possible, drag them into the trenches, smother them on the inside, and maul them, basically. His other front foot game is what I call the classic Kronk approach, which is to be aggressive whilst maintaining range. And he did that in the second Wilder fight. Vladimir Klitschko did this through much of his career, where he would pressure you. He'd be coming forward, applying pressure behind the jab, and he'd be looking to detonate the straight right hand off the jab, knock you off balance with the jab as well coming in, whether he lands it to the head or to the body. Well, in Vladimir Klitschko's case, not often to the body, but with Tyson Fury, he was landing jabs to the chest and to the body of Wilder coming in, and to the shoulders sometimes, right? Now, that approach would present Usyk with some new problems, but because it's based on maintaining a certain distance, maintaining a certain amount of space between Fury and the opponent, it would give Usyk opportunities to counter. It would give Usyk opportunities to move around, because there's space there. Fury's trying to keep space. Do you see what I'm saying? Therefore, even though it's possible Fury could have success fighting that way, it's not going to shut down Usyk's offense or put him under as much mental and physical pressure as using the other front foot game, the smothering tactics. The thing with the smothering tactics of, let's say, the Cunningham fight is that Fury would be more susceptible to walking onto shots. So it's a trade-off, right? It's a gamble. You're gambling on being able to wear Usyk down quite quickly by applying intense pressure, smothering his shots, getting up close, leaning on him, roughing him up on the inside. You're gambling on being able to do that without walking onto big punches that get you hurt and get you stopped. So it's a more high-risk strategy, but the rewards are potentially greater, and the rewards potentially happen sooner in the fight. I think Usyk will be in greater danger of not just losing, but even getting stopped if Tyson Fury fights that way, as opposed to the classic Kronk pressure or back foot boxing. But either version of pressure, I think, gives Tyson Fury a better chance, and therefore Usyk is going to have to bust out his back foot game, which we haven't seen since the AJ fights, right? Usyk hasn't needed to box on the back foot since he fought Anthony Joshua. Didn't have to box on the back foot against Dubois. Didn't have to box on the back foot in the first Fury fight. So that's the caveat here. The adjustments Usyk will have to make in order to win are dependent on how Tyson Fury chooses to approach this rematch. Now, Usyk is a consummate pro. I'm sure he'll be preparing for all eventualities. The man is ridiculously thorough. Even if Fury does come at him, either with the classic Kronk pressure or the smothering tactics, I'm sure Usyk has planned for those scenarios. He just needs to make sure that he's in the right mind frame to box that way. It's all right preparing yourself in the gym when you've beaten a guy already and you've pushed him back for 12 rounds and you've hit him with loads of big shots, beaten him up and nearly stopped him. Sometimes it's hard psychologically to prepare yourself for the tables to be turned. You might go into the fight thinking, I've got this guy. My will is stronger than his. Showed it in the first fight. But if the guy comes at you and throws a curveball and he's being hyper aggressive, he's the much bigger guy. You have to be prepared mentally to backpedal and quickly get into that mode, understanding what you need to do and accept the new dynamic. Because in the first fight, it was cat and mouse, but Usyk was the cat. And I think that's his nickname, by the way. Chasing down Tyson Fury a very large mouse. But if Fury comes out all guns blazing, then Usyk is going to have to, again, as I say, accept that he's all of a sudden the mouse. He's all of a sudden the matador and the ball's coming at him. So although Usyk is the consummate pro in terms of his fitness, in terms of his discipline, his technique, he'll also need to adjust his mindset very quickly, depending on how Tyson Fury approaches the rematch. So yeah, that's how Usyk wins again. If Fury's on the back foot, just rinse and repeat. Make that small adjustment to avoid Fury's uppercut, neutralize that punch, pressure him, break him down, take him out. But if Fury comes out aggressive, be ready mentally. We know Usyk's going to be ready technically. We know he's going to be ready in terms of fitness, but mentally. And if he's ready for it, then maybe he can draw Tyson Fury's sting in the early going, weather the storm, just like he did against Derek Chisora, for example, and then punish Tyson Fury down the stretch, because that's Usyk's calling card, really, is punishing you down the stretch. That's what he tends to do in damn near every fight he's in. And if Fury really goes for it in the early rounds and doesn't get the stoppage, then he might be an even bigger sitting duck in the second half of the fight than he was first time around. And therefore, he may end up the victim of a knockout defeat, with Usyk standing over him and the referee counting Tyson Fury out. It's a gamble for Fury. We'll see whether he takes it. Perhaps Fury thinks that the judges are going to be even more biased in his favor than they were last time. So he may feel he doesn't need to be aggressive and he can just box on the back foot again. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.